Hello, my name is Joshua Brown from the job aptitude testing website howtobecome.com, and in this tutorial I will teach you how to pass a Morgan Stanley assessment test. So if you have a Morgan Stanley test coming up for any role whatsoever, then please make sure you watch this video from start to finish, because I'm going to help you to stand out and succeed. To achieve that goal, this is what we'll cover. I'll give you the different types of Morgan Stanley test questions that will come up during your test. Plus, I'll give you step-by-step instructions on how to tackle Morgan Stanley assessment test questions, followed by essential tips to help you pass your Morgan Stanley assessment at the very first attempt. Plus, I'll also make sure to tell you where you can instantly access over 400 Morgan Stanley assessment practice questions and the fully worked solutions. Just very quickly, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because I want to help you to pass your Morgan Stanley assessment test, and I can only do that if you are subscribed. And please don't forget to hit that like button, because this tells me you find these tutorials useful. Okay, I'm going to be giving you some essential tips for passing your Morgan Stanley assessment test. Let's get started with the Morgan Stanley numerical reasoning test questions, because so many people find these a real struggle, and it's no wonder, because these are presented in a different format to what you may expect. So the question may look something like this, and don't worry, we're going to go through it step by step. So numerical reasoning is a test within the Morgan Stanley assessment test, and it measures your ability to correctly read data. The test is based on a fictional organization, and you will be shown 6 tabs which each represent a different data set. For example, yearly sales, profits, costs, and so on. You will also see a question or a statement related to the data presented in one of these tabs. So your task is to locate the data from the correct tab and answer the question. You will need to determine if you believe the statement in the question or statement is true, false, or impossible to say. And that may sound very confusing and overwhelming, but don't worry, I'm going to walk you through this step by step. And just quickly, it's important to note that in the real test, you must answer 56 of these numerical reasoning questions out of 129 total questions in just 90 minutes, which is only 40 seconds per question. So you will want to take note of this tutorial and how to answer these questions. So let's take a look at an example numerical reasoning question. So the statement or the question could be, in the last quarter of 2022, total profits were 42,100. You have to validate whether that is true, false, or impossible to say. And to start with, you'll be presented with these 6 data tabs. Now, if you've ever used Microsoft Excel or Google Spreadsheets or something like that, you'll be very familiar with tabs, because essentially that is what this is. You have a set of data tabs, and you click a tab and it opens a separate sheet full of numerical data. So the first thing that you need to do is determine which tab you need to click on. Okay, so now that we have the question or the statement, let's break this down into 3 simple steps to work out if the statement is indeed true, false, or impossible to say. Step 1, we need to find the correct tab which contains the data. In this case, we can see that the question includes the words total profits. We could assume by this that the required data may be present in the total profits tab. So if we click the total profits tab, let's see where that takes us. Okay, so we are now presented with data and a graph. So step 2 is to analyze the data contained in the tab to locate the correct data to validate. So that brings us on nicely to step 3, and that's to make the required calculation. So in this case, the last quarter of 2022 is October, November, and December, as we can see here. Now, if we add the 3 figures from these months, 12.2 plus 13.4 plus 16.5, we get a total of 42 by 1. And if you are an eagle-eyed viewer, you will have noticed that looking at the tab again, it states that the figures are represented in the thousands of pounds. So to get the answer, we need to times 42.1 by 1000, which gives us a total figure of 42,100. As this question asks if the total profits were 42,100, this makes the correct answer true. So what I want you to do now, as that was quite a lot to take in, is to either pause this video or rewind it back a step and just watch that again so you can really absorb how to answer this question. And then when you're ready, we're now going to move on to a practice question for you. So let's try another one real quick. Here's the question. In March 2022, the dairy and frozen food profits were over £20,000. Now we have to decide whether that's true, false, or impossible to say, just like before. Here are your 6 data tabs. So this time you'll see that they're slightly different. Now I want you to have a quick think here, pause the video if you need to. What tab would you click? Well, we can see that the question includes the words profits. So we could assume by this that the required data may be present in the profits by line tab. So if we click that, let's see where that takes us. Okay, so by clicking the profits by line tab, we are presented with this graph and table. I'll give you 10 seconds here on the timer to see if you can work this out. Let's go. Did you get the answer? Well, looking again at the question, it is asking us to validate whether the combined profits for the dairy and frozen departments in March 2022 were over £20,000. To ascertain this, we only need to make a quick calculation. We can see on the table that in March, the dairy department had a profit of 7.7 and frozen a profit of 7, which is 14.7 when added together. Looking at the tab again, it states that the figures are represented in the thousands of pounds. So to get the answer, we need to times 14.7 by 1,000, which gives us a figure of 14,700. As the question asks if the combined profits in March was over £20,000, this makes the correct answer false. Okay, before we move on to the next Morgan Stanley question type, at any time during this video, you can click that link in the top right hand corner of the video if you want to. It will take you through to my website, howtobecome.com, where you can instantly access my 400 Morgan Stanley assessment test questions and answers resource. Okay, the next Morgan Stanley test question type is verbal reasoning. Again, another area many people struggle with. However, this time I don't need to break this down as much as I just did with the numerical reasoning one, because in fact, the question types are almost identical. It's just this time, instead of numerical data, you will be getting verbal data. So that may be bullet points, sentences and paragraphs, structured lists. Again, you will need to select if you believe the statement presented is true, false, or impossible to say. Now, this test contains 49 questions which you must answer in 12 minutes, which is only 15 seconds per question. So speed and accuracy are key to your success. So let's take a look at a practice question for you. So the statement here is, if I wanted recovery therapies included in my pet insurance, I would choose gold or platinum. Now, is that statement true, false, or impossible to say? Well, here are the 6 data tabs we have this time. We have About Us, Services, Vision, Car Insurance, Home Insurance, and Pet Insurance. Which tab would you click? Well, if it was me, I would click the Pet Insurance tab, because we can see in the original statement it says recovery therapies included in my pet insurance. Always pick out the keywords. So the keywords here are recovery therapies, pet insurance, gold or platinum. So if we click that pet insurance tab, let's see where it takes us. Well, this time we get a visually different type of data compared to the numerical reasoning section. This time we get a literature chart with ticks in it. So remember, that statement is, if I wanted recovery therapies included in my pet insurance, well, you can see here that recovery therapies are only included with diamond pet insurance policies. Therefore, the correct answer is false. Now, this is a great example to show how you just need to skim read for those keywords, and that's what you really need to get plenty of practice doing. Let's take a look at a practice question for you. So this statement is, Naveen Singh is the person to go to in the organization with regard to online gaming. Now, here are your 6 tabs. Which one would you click? Well, if it was me, I would click organization, even though there is a tab option there for online games, and we may want to try that. It appears to me the key word is organization here, as that is most likely to show the structure of the organization. So let's click that tab. That takes us to this page which shows us this data. So this time there's a lot more text, but remember, skim read that data and look for the key words. More often than not, they'll be fairly obvious because they'll be highlighted in bold. So looking again at the question, It is asking us to validate whether the person to go to in regard to online gaming is Naveen Singh. So the best thing to do is scan that content for either Naveen Singh or online gaming. As we can see here, the tab does clearly state that Naveen looks after everything online. So it is safe to state that Naveen is the go-to person. So in this instance, the answer is true. How did you get on? How did you find that? Well, let's move on to the next question type, but don't forget, if you would like to practice any of these questions in mock exam conditions, like we've just covered, you can click that link in the top right hand corner of the video if you want to, and head over to my website, howtobecome.com, at any point during this tutorial, where you can instantly access my 400 Morgan Stanley assessment test questions and answers resource. Okay, the next question type to prepare for is deductive reasoning. Now here is a similar style test to help you prepare for your deductive reasoning assessment with Morgan Stanley. And the question may be phrased something similar to this. Each symbol in the grid below can appear once only in each column or row. With this in mind, which symbol replaces the question mark on the grid? So you can see that question mark is the red question mark there. And if you've ever played a game of Sudoku with numbers, this is a very similar type assessment. Here are your answer options. I, egg timer, light bulb and target. We can see one of those symbols all presented on that grid already. So which symbol replaces that question mark in the grid? Remember, each symbol in the grid below can only appear once in each column or row. Have a go at this yourself and let me know if you can get the answer. Now, if you want to pause the video, please feel free to give this a go. If not, I'm going to give you a couple of practice questions under time conditions on the next few slides. So the way to work this out is to obviously use deductive reasoning. And so what I mean by that is this question mark can't possibly be an egg timer or the light bulb because they are in this same row. Each symbol can only appear once in each column or row. So that rules out the egg timer and the light bulb. And we can see here also rules out the I, because the I is in the same row as the question mark. That means the only symbol that this question mark could possibly be is indeed the target. So what I want you to do now is to practice a couple of these questions yourself under timed conditions. And what I want you to do is to let me know your answer in the comment section below, where I will then reply to every comment and mark your answers. If you need any further help, please also let me know in the comment section below. So again, the question is the same. Each symbol in the grid below can appear once only in each column or row. With this in mind, which symbol replaces the question mark in the grid? Again, is it the I, egg timer, light bulb, or target? I'm going to give you 10 seconds on the timer starting now. Well, how did you find that? You're doing great. Don't forget to let me know your answer in the comment section below the video. Let's try another one, the exact same question again. Let me know your answer in the comment section below. You have 10 seconds on the timer starting now. Brilliant, well done. So the next thing to do is to please make sure you click that button in the top right hand corner of this video right now. Head through to my website, howtobecome.com, where you can get access to my 400 Morgan Stanley preparation style aptitude test questions and fully worked answers to each question. It includes all of the other question types, including the Morgan Stanley situational judgment test, non-verbal reasoning, switches, and many more. You can literally have online access within 2 minutes from now, and it's guaranteed to help you prepare effectively for your next job aptitude test, and also, more importantly, put you ahead of the competition. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe, as I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible pass the aptitude tests and job interviews, and I can only do that if you are subscribed. Please also hit that like button, as that encourages me to make more videos just like this one. And if you have any questions regarding any aptitude tests, then please feel free to put these in the comment section below, where I will get back to you. And finally, don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. I've put my LinkedIn link in the description below. It's always great to connect with like-minded professionals such as yourself. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you all the best of your assessment. Have a brilliant day.